Hey, it's James Taylor here. I was talking to a good friend the other day who was telling me she was struggling to find time in her calendar to do creative work. In her case, she was working on her first draft of her very first novel. And she was saying, James, I just can't carve out the hours in my week to do this creative work. And this is what I said to her. I said, you know, there's these three buckets in your life. And I would say you could only choose 2 out of 3 at different points in your life. You can switch around at different points in your life, but at any one point, you have to be choosing 2 that you're focused on. And these 3 buckets are this. There's creating, there's communicating, and then there is consuming content. So let's go through each of these. So creating is as it sounds. It's doing the work. It's writing that book. It's writing that song. It's coming up, developing that business idea. It's the creative work, the stuff that we think of that we should be doing as much possible time on as we can. That's the first part. Then there's the communicating part. So there's a bit, once you've created the work, you've created that book, that album, that new business, that new product, then you've kind of got to share the work and you've got to get it out in the world and communicate with people so that they can experience it as well. And then there's this third part, which is consuming. So this is, consuming media in every which way possible. And the thing is, consuming is a funny one because you can trick yourself into thinking that consuming is good. You can think that, well, I'm having to learn about this subject just now because I'm writing this new book, so I need to be consuming as much information as possible. And if you are in the research stage of working on a creative project, then you should be consuming as much as possible, but then there comes a time when you have to stop. You need to switch modes and you need to move into much more creation mode. You need to say, I've consumed as much as I need at this point and I need to go into creation mode. It's like people that they're almost hooked on always learning the next thing, learning the next subject. But there's another way to think about, which is just-in-time learning, which is, there's all these emails are coming in that want to teach me about this, this, and this thing, but I just need to focus on what I need to learn to do this thing that I'm trying to work on at this point. Now, here's the danger, is that TV is a classic example because what you're doing there is you're consuming. So every minute, hour you spend consuming, watching TV is an hour, minute that you're not spending on creating work or communicating work. Likewise with books. I mean, books, we think, I love books, I'm surrounded by books, but it's important at a certain point to actually put the books aside and actually do the work, actually create your own books, create your own creative works. So, those books, media, news, it's all that stuff. You're consuming that stuff all the time, and it's a point you have to go on a little bit of a media diet, and you say, okay, that's enough for now. Now, social media is an interesting one because it can trick you into thinking it's actually doing all 3. I'm creating that blog, that Facebook post, I'm communicating with my followers, that people are interested in what I do, and I'm consuming content, I'm seeing stuff in the newsfeed. But I would argue, really, it's mostly about consumption. Most of the time, you're just consuming stuff. You're not really creating new stuff, or it's taking time away from you creating new stuff. So let's have a think about those things. Creating, communicating, consuming. Choose 2 at any point, and over time it will change. At certain points you will move from having done a lot of time on creating something that you need to get out there, and you need to find out ways to promote it and market it, and you need to communicate what you're doing, and that's absolutely fine. But if you're struggling to find the time to do the creative work, to actually get that thing made, then you need to think about those 2 other areas and which one of those has to go. Hope that's been useful to you. If you're not watching this at jamestaylor.me, I would love if you went over there just now and left a comment there and tell me what some of the challenges are for you around time management as a creative. Hi, it's James here. Did you enjoy that episode? If so, there's 2 things that we can do to continue the journey together. Firstly, I would love if you to subscribe, give us 5 stars and leave a comment. Secondly, if you go to jamestaylor.me and enter your name and email address, I'm going to send you some free goodies all around creativity and innovation. Look forward to continuing the journey together.